3 surfers out in the lineup, 40 minutes on the clock. Rosie, most surf movies are a lot shorter than 40 minutes these days. So we just have a lot of hi-fi action, cut through. This is the big point, though. We want them to have plenty of time to catch their top 2 rides. And with a little bit more energy today, that's always a positive sign. South wind, sometimes when that starts here in Huntington, you could kind of plan on the south wind disappearing about 10, 11 a.m. this morning. We love it, Kaipo. Thanks for the insight on Carissa Moore's local wave back home on the island of Oahu. And we'll get a start here. Just a quick up and out for Johanne Defay. Couldn't help herself, sitting for a while. And now this heat's getting started. Carissa Moore, quick slash on the backhand, good for 1 move. And Carissa will have the lead slightly over Johanne Defay. Now priorities with Pauline Nadeau. Didn't really want to keep that score from a turn that didn't feel right. And then the next thing you know, she'd pull up a massive air and get everybody on their feet. That was the first turn we have had this morning. A 2.33 start for Carissa Moore.
On the ladies' side, you get 1 wild card. And you think about missing events for Paige. I don't know if it's going to be an option, as well as Savannah Lima. She's also got that injury. So there's 1 spot. So maybe she kind of wants to make her mark and get back and get some results.
This is Johanne Defay now trying to go the distance on the reform. She deserves it. It's gone this far. Now setting up the forehand. Little wall to work with. Throws it up vertically. An important make there for Defay. Her best so far with 18:30 to go.
I think Joanne's kind of got that magic board underneath her feet, and it shows that every time she stands up, she's got the confidence to just throw it around. She knows that she can be confident through her turns, that the board's going to respond in the correct manner. And this is part of the criteria this morning, just how you make that transition from the outside.
Backside snap from Carissa Moore. Second one on the open face. Great start for the 3-time world champ. Now hunting down a reform. Had 1 turn for a 2.33 before this. Much better ride with more opportunity on this inside track. Has a little bit more speed for the end section. Drills it shut. Nice composure for Carissa Moore, staying light on her feet through the flats, accomplishing a couple of turns out the back as well.
Best wave of the heat so far. And this is the wave from the beginning. So on her backhand, just so much spray. Just see that water off the back of her surfboard. So 2 maneuvers out the back. 1 just to transition back into that power source, and then making it through, making this connection is going to be so important today. Finishing off on your feet. Is that room to just kind of hammer that end section.
Nice clean frontside wrap for Pauline Nadeau on her opening ride. Fades it again. So 3 similar fading cutbacks, and she'll just start to hunt down the reform. Very patient in this 40-minute heat. Nice bottom turn, snap off the top, and Pauline Nadeau finishes getting her first score on the board in round 3, heat number 1. Here in the first heat of the morning at the Vans US Open of Surfing. It's interesting having a spot like Lower Trestles. You end up seeing everybody around the world come to your favorite wave to have a bit of a warm-up for all the major events in Southern California. Johanne Defay finding some flow out the back and hugging this whitewater well just to get this reform opportunity. Her .57 is already long gone, but she won't get an inside section for the reform. But that'll be a top 2 score for the time being. And seeing some pretty solid numbers for the last of Carissa Moore.
That just shows, you know, that she's so driven. She's really a balanced individual, but also just so focused when she's in the water.
Carissa Moore out front. Johanne Defay trying to get the lead here. Winding up for a clean backhand re-entry. Second section, solid. Belts it there, and now heading for the pilings. Great start for Defay. 2 big turns, and now looking like she is set up for a reform. 3.17's already out of there as her low score. And now a big section on the forehand. The former US Open champ finishes on her feet.
Great wave from Johanne Defay. And I love the foot positioning on that surfboard. She's just so stable and just weaving through those flat sections, and then kind of shuffles up towards the front of that board just to make sure that she's up and over at all times.
But always fun to get a solid heat win to the final series. Let's look at the turns out the back row.
Wow, that backhand so lethal. 2-turn combo on the outside. We think about what Carissa got done for a 6.67. That was way more critical from Johanne Defay. So those 2 turns on the outside alone, I think, are going to put her in a sure position to put a great score on the board, but then also finishing off. So the vertical approach from Joanne, that's going to come into play. I think the judges are going to take note of just how difficult it is to find those sections on a day like today. It's all about shedding those bad results. You can't carry that with you. You can't lug that luggage around and keep it with you when you get to the next event. You got to be refreshed. You got to kind of leave that behind.
And an important wave right here for Pauline Nadeau. Clean frontside wrap. Wave's going a bit off speed and hung her up for a bit there. And now just forcing this reform. And it's not going to let her in. So she is chasing a 4.01 for a top 2 spot. 9:25 to go. Defay on the split, just up and out. Her lead not changing.
Coco Ho, Stephanie Gilmore, Tatiana Weston-Webb, Lakey Peterson, Sally Fitzgibbons, and they are very, very focused watching this heat right now, trying to get their game plan. And all the way down to the juniors. The last few days, the juniors have been running around the comp area, just grinding 10 bonsai bowls. And even today, I ran into Cade Matson, and he and his dad were watching the waves intently. They're going to take off from the beach, go get some rest, get out of here, and then come back and get refocused for the final.
Last to Carissa Moore, she just got away when we were catching up with Foki downstairs, and she got a 4.23, made a bit of an improvement there. Defay now, straight up vertical on the left towards the pier. Beautiful glide out of this board. Perfect small wave weapon for the former U.S. Open champ. And now doing the dance for the inside track. Defay looking to pick up a little section here. She'll redirect for the backhand vertical hook and fights for the completion. Hanging on there with a lot of turbulence. Rosie, are you going to call that turn a make?
Yes. I'm going to say that Joanne rode out of that maneuver, but what I'm worried about is her ankle.
I'm with you, though. It was critical. She had control on the landing. Let's see what happens here.
Well, here we'll get a clear look at this vertical snap. And through there, I thought she was off the wave completely. Yeah, there is going to be just that slight.
I'm going incomplete, Rosie.
Yeah, okay. Getting another look at this. Let's see. That's where we're talking about, is where you ride out clean.
It's questionable.
It is questionable.
Because her board's in front of the whitewater. Exactly. Is that what you saw there?
I saw that. I saw, you know, there was that moment where she went down, got back up, kind of the control element coming out of it, that wasn't there. The judges want to see clean. Give her the points to go into her top 2. She's still holding on to that 4.67. It's a dangerous wave for Carissa with Pauline. Oh, up and out.
Pauline up and down real quick, starting to feel the heat. Remember, 3rd place, knocked out of the contest. A great rule that was created this year at the start of the season. But we're passing the swatch, 1-minute warning. Little bump there, not enough for Carissa to make a decision with priority. Back towards the pier bowl right. Defay's making a move. There's a clean vertical snap. And right now she's just thanking her competition for giving her the pier ball all to herself. And now running through this inside and setting up the lip to hit. She'll go down seconds. Carissa using priority on this wave. And trying to get some speed up for this inside track. Now redirecting to her forehand. No room for maneuvers on the inside with now 12 seconds on the clock. Just a few more seconds to go.
Yeah, I think Carissa's going to hear this one being counted out. Just that little bit of relief, making it through to the quarterfinals.
And Johanne Defay taking the first win of the morning. Johanne Defay, Carissa Moore moving on to the quarters, losing Pauline Nadeau in the first heat of the day with that 5.0 and 2.87.